First of all, you are not a robot. I am not a robot. Now, there are certain days where I wish I was. Got to be honest with you. There are certain days where I wish that I was a robot. I wish that I had the unending supply of energy. I would not need to take a lunch break. I would never sleep in too long. I would always get the things done that I knew I should get done. And so being a robot does have some major advantages. As a robot is programmable. So you could get a new program if you wanted to learn something new and you were a robot, then you would just download a new program and you could put that right into action. And so all that really matters to a robot is the how and the what. In other words, as long as the robot has the ability to do something and has the knowledge to do it, then it will be done. But, as I said, I am not a robot and you are not a robot. And so our reasons matter. Our reasons matter a lot. Our reasons, our why, is what gives us the motivation that we need to get out in the field and succeed. So I talk to many sales partners who will say they're struggling, and we always seem to talk about the what and the how. We always seem to talk about their objections. We always seem to talk about their sales presentation. We always seem to talk about those things, again, as if they are a robot, as if we are simply trying to download into them the knowledge that they need and ensure that they have the ability to put that knowledge to use and then problem solved. Well, not so. Unfortunately, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of capable sales professionals in the market today who have the knowledge to succeed, who have the ability to succeed, but who are failing or who have simply dropped out of the sales profession and moved into another more stable line of work because they did not have a reason strong enough to get them out of bed in the morning and to get them out in the field working. One of my favorite quotes is that you have to manage your energy, not your time. You have to manage your energy, not your time. And so it's very important that you understand what your reason for existence is. So what is the difference between you and a robot? Well, primarily, again, a robot doesn't really need a why. A robot doesn't care why you want it to put the car door on the car in the assembly line. It doesn't care about the why. All it cares about is, I've got to have the knowledge to do it, the information that I need, and I have to have the ability. You have to create the robot in such a way to do what you want it to do. But human beings are not robots. And so for us, what's most important for us is the why. Why am I doing this? Many sales partners that I've asked that question to have basically given me an answer of, well, I'm doing it to make money. And I understand that, and sometimes that can be a powerful motivator, especially when you're in survival mode. But I'll tell you what I've seen those sales partners do time and time and time again. Either that why is not strong enough to get them to make the money they need to make, and they move on to something else, because if it's all about the money, then many times you're not going to have the fortitude to make it through the first 6 months or so of building an independent sales portfolio. And so you're going to move on to something else where over the long run you'll make less money, but because your motivation is all about survival, paying the bills, having the money, you're going to move on to something that's going to do that for you over the long haul, even though you don't have a lot of high earning potential there. Or the other thing I've seen happen, which to me is equally sad, is a sales partner will come in and they will spend maybe 6 months or a year working very, very hard at this business. They will build up $2,000, $3,000, maybe even $4,000 a month in residual income, and then they'll just fall off the end of the earth. And they have this residual income, they're very happy with it, they feel like they've accomplished their mission, which was to make some money to pay the bills and to survive, and they stay right there. And next thing you know, 5-6 years down the road, they're looking back thinking, what did I just do with the last 5 or 6 years of my life? I had already achieved this very easily achievable purpose of stabilizing my finances, and now I have nothing left to drive me or to push me, but they feel trapped in the business because they're not going to give up a $3,000 to $4,000 a month income that they've built up by leaving the business and, knowing their accounts are going to cancel off. So they feel trapped in this business where they've already accomplished their goal. And so your why is very, very important. Now I want to show you one more slide on this. This is what's called the Golden Circle. It was made popular on a TED Talk. So you can look it up on YouTube if you'd like, TED Talk Golden Circle, and you'll see a great TED presentation there by a business professional. But what he talked about was how most people approach their life and how most people approach business. Most people approach life and business from the outside in. They start with the what, then they ask how, and then they start to think a little bit about why, if at all. Now, truly remarkable individuals and truly remarkable organizations start with a why, then they ask how are they going to accomplish that why, and then they ask what are they going to do to accomplish it. So they go why, how, what. And I have never had a salesperson call me and say, why does your organization offer merchant services? Why do you offer point of sale? Why would I be selling this? Instead, the questions we always get, of course, are, what is the compensation like? What is the training like? How does the pitch go? It's the what and the how questions that we get constantly. And so the sales partner comes in with a very muddled reason behind getting into this in the first place. They really don't even have a why. So they start by asking questions like what? What's the compensation? What's the program? What's the training like? What are your rates for the client? Get into the how, and they say, okay, now how do I do this exactly? And how do I sell it? And how do I go pitch somebody? And how do I do a cost analysis? And they get all the training, and then they jump out in the field with zero motivation, maybe a little bit of excitement, but excitement is not motivation. They have a little bit of excitement, and that gets them past the first week where they're out in the field prospecting. This, of course, being the most difficult week because this is at a point where they have the lowest ability and knowledge that they're going to have because they're just getting started in the industry. So, of course, they're going to experience a lot of rejection the first week, the first month. They're going to experience a lot of rejection, a lot of people telling them no. And they don't have a strong reason for doing this. It was just an opportunistic move that they made, and they're trying to figure out, what it is, how it works. They don't have a good solid why, and so inevitably they then leave the business to do something else. Now, how is that different for the remarkable individual? Well, the individual salesperson that is remarkable starts with a why. And they look at this and say, I really want to accomplish X. And how am I going to accomplish that? Well, you know what? It looks to me like merchant services, small business services, it looks to me like that would be a good way for me to accomplish my why. And then they say, well, what processor am I going to use to accomplish this with? What company am I going to partner with in order to provide the program that I want to provide to small business owners? And when you have that kind of mentality, you're going to stick around for the long haul, and you're going to make an enormous amount of money in really any business, but in independent sales in particular, because independent sales rewards this type of attitude. Small business owners want to deal with sales partners that are passionate. They don't want to deal with sales partners that are there to take their money. And so sales professionals who have this why ingrained in them and ingrained inside of their mind, they know why they're doing what they're doing. They are going to come across to business owners in a completely different way than someone who is simply out there trying to survive and make money. As I go out in the field with sales partners, I don't get to do it as much as I used to, but as I go out with sales partners, one of the most common complaints from sales partners that I've personally trained in the field is that they go out with me for, let's say, a day or two, and then they go out on their own, and inevitably they come back to me and say, we need to go out again because that day that I was with you, we were just really lucky. We walked into all these businesses that were just really interested right when you walked in the door. And so you got really lucky that day, so I didn't really get to see what it's like out in the field to sell. And they just don't understand why is it that these small business owners are so interested in what you have to offer when I'm going back and I'm offering the same thing, because they're looking at the what. I'm offering the same rates that you're offering. I'm offering the same free equipment that you're offering. I'm offering the same value proposition that you're offering. But what you're not offering is the why. And when I go into a small business and I talk to them passionately about why I'm in this business, the reason I walked into your business today, Mr. Jones, is because I am passionate about helping small businesses, because I believe that small businesses have a tough time competing with their larger competitors. And I don't think it needs to be that way. I think small business owners should have an advantage. Small business owners are local. People love small business. How many people in America, when you look at your Facebook page, how many of your Facebook friends talk about how much they hate Big Brother, corporate America, these big corporations? They all talk about it, but they all shop at Walmart. Why do they do that? Well, the reason that they do that is because they don't know about your small business. They don't have an idea of what you could offer them. And so my passion is helping your business become more competitive. And it's that attitude, and it's that presentation, and it's that conversation that tells that small business owner, this guy's not here to get my money. This guy is here to add value to my organization. And so it's that passion. And so then the sales partner that I've trained will go out in the field, and they'll walk in and they'll do their little sales spiel. And they'll get shut down over and over and over again. And they'll wonder, why do I keep getting shut down? The reason why you keep getting shut down is because you don't have a why. You're not passionate about what you're doing. And that comes through in your sales presentation. No matter how good a salesperson you are, no matter how much ability you have to wordsmith everything and talk about it, you cannot reach your full potential in a sales career without having a strong purpose and reason for offering what you offer. So what is my why? On this last slide, I want to talk to you about my why, and then I want to talk to you about your why. What is my why? There are really two things I'm passionate about in my life. Number one is helping independent sales partners succeed. When we look at my work, the work that I do, whether it's here, whether it's in ministry, on the weekends as a youth pastor, and work at a church, there's two things I'm very passionate about. Number one, I'm passionate about helping independent sales partners succeed. This is something for which I have been passionate for the last about 11 years. And 11 years ago, I got my first job as a salesperson. And within a day, I realized that two things. Number one, the sales profession is an amazing, unique opportunity. It's an incredible experience to be a sales professional. It's a great career. I have friends in the medical field. I have friends in law. I have friends in finance. I have friends that are executives at major corporations. And I will tell you that my career as an independent sales professional has paid me just as well as their careers have paid them. It has given me just as much satisfaction. It has given me just as many connections. It has produced just as much passion, if not more. And so I realized on day one that sales is an amazing opportunity. And number two, I realized that most companies are not positioned to serve the salesperson. Most companies are positioned to serve themselves. And in doing so, they actually damage themselves, because the sales professional is the one that is driving the results for the organization, creating the top line revenue that makes everything else possible. But because they don't create their company around the independent sales professional, they don't see a great deal of success with that model. Now, quickly, let's talk about your why. Now, your why, I have down here 3 examples here. But again, these are just some examples from sales partners that I've spoken with. Let me just say that some of you might share my passion to help independent sales partners succeed. Maybe your passion is to help small business compete. And I will say this is one of my passions. And again, for me, this passion falls under the potential. I love to find potential that's unused and release it. And small business, I believe, is loaded with potential that's unused. And so I'm very passionate about helping small business owners compete, because I'm passionate about helping everybody release their potential, and I'm always looking for that. And so when I go to a small business, I'm looking for what is their potential to compete. Number two, maybe you have a why of securing your family's financial future. This can be a powerful why. Again, I don't believe it is the most powerful why, but it can be very powerful if you have a lofty enough goal. If your goal is to make $100,000 a year, and that's your eventual goal, to be honest with you, you're shooting a little bit low. In this business, if you work hard for 2 years, you'll be making $100,000 a year. So you might want to aim a little higher than that, and you might want to aim for something like creating a stable foundation of wealth for your family moving forward. But that's certainly a why. Maybe you just need to sit down and make your list today, and then ask how and what. So in closing today, let me encourage each of you, take a little time, sit down with a piece of paper and a pen, and figure out why you're doing this. Why are you doing this? What are you all about? What is it that you bring to your clients? What is it that you bring to your family? What is it you bring to your friends and your relationships? What is it that you bring to your work? Why do you exist? Think about some of these things a little bit deeper and establish these things, and then communicate them. Then look at the how and the what. Okay, my passion is helping small businesses compete. So how should I do that? And what program should I offer to do that? My name is James Shepard.